So immigration enforcement operations are underway in Chicago. Operation Midway Blitz honors Katie Abraham, who was killed in a drunk drive and hit and run crash allegedly caused by an illegal immigrant. The crackdown will target criminal illegal migrants across Illinois. Katie's father, Joe Abraham, joins us now alongside Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining the program.
Thanks, Lawrence.
So
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and condolences to you for the death of your daughter. Mr. Abraham, I want to get your comments on what the governor of Illinois had to say about this. Once again, this isn't about fighting crime. That requires support and coordination, yet we've experienced nothing like that over the past several weeks. Instead of taking steps to work with us on public safety, the Trump administration focused on scaring Illinoisans. Well, your daughter was scared when she was senselessly killed, right?
Yeah, and it hurts me that I wasn't there to help her in any way. You know, it's tough to take anything our governor says right now. His silence on this matter, from our perspective, has been deafening. So when he talks about coordination and you know, it's a two-way street, right? You would think a leader of his state would also reach out and try to find some type of a midpoint, right? Maybe it's not National Guard in the street, but it's certainly not status quo. Is there not something he can do with the administration somewhere in the middle to help what's happening, not only in Chicago, but in his whole state?
Well, Director, he can start by honoring your detainers that you put on criminal aliens that are within the country. Right?
Yeah, you want to 100% right, Lawrence. You know, the governor's been silent on this, to Joe's point, and that's what is deafening, right? Immigration and Customs Enforcement has always been in Chicago. The brave men and women of ICE have always been there trying to take these criminal aliens off the street. And I think that's what the governor is missing. You know, I had the opportunity to sit with Joe and talk about Katie's life in June, and I wish more elected officials would talk to these angel parents, because this is what the men and women of ICE are doing every day. We're out there going getting these criminal illegal aliens that the state and local officials don't want to deal with, or they don't have the heart to deal with. We have to take these threats out of the streets so young people like Katie will be around to have a great and wonderful life.
Joe, what is your message to the leaders out there? Because they seem to just resist every effort. And we're just talking about the worst of the worst right now, the criminal aliens in this country illegally. What is your message to those that are resisting right now?
I would say show some leadership here. Leadership isn't saying, Donald Trump says this, so I'm going to do that. There's got to be a reasonable, rational midpoint here. Again, it doesn't have to be one extreme or the other, and you don't go to your corners. If that's leadership, we have no leadership then. I would expect that he would work with the administration to make our streets a little bit safer. So in that case, if that was happening, I would still have Katie with me. I don't. Right now, I have a life sentence. And that's where me and my family sit. And Katie has death. We have been separated. You know, I love the terms I keep hearing. Families are separated. Children are being taken, or parents are being taken. My daughter was taken. We are separated. I will never see her again. She got death. I got a life sentence. And
it's horrible. And Mr. Director, as a result of this, your men and women are being doxxed right now. What's going to happen? They're already in Chicago. But when you send the surge of resources, how are we going to keep them safe so they can get justice for Katie?
You know, we're going to work with our federal partners, with the Department of Justice. We're going to make sure we hold those people accountable. But every day, the men and women of ICE and the other federal partners that are with us in Chicago, we honor Katie by going out there and getting these criminal aliens off the street. That's who we're out there fighting for every day. Fighting for parents like Joe, fighting for victims like Katie. We have to make sure that these criminal aliens are removed from our neighborhoods. And to Joe's point, we're not out there separating families. We're not out there arresting people trying to make a better life. We're out there arresting criminal aliens, known suspected terrorists, and gang members that are ruining our community. So the men and women of ICE are going to stay in Chicago, and we're going to stay in all the major cities across the United States to ensure that we remove this public safety threat from our neighborhoods.
Joe, what do you say to this administration, the president, the director, about keeping this promise?
Yeah, I met the director. It was They are great people. His staff were great folks. And to see some fringe elements just tear them down is really disheartening. It's very sad. And I would say that in this case, they need to do the good work they're doing because, again, the false choice isn't anybody and everybody, and it shouldn't be any shame in trying to understand who's entering the country, having some type of audit, some type of front-end process so we don't have this situation on the back end. These are supposed leaders, prior administration, our current leaders here in Illinois, seem to feel that let anyone in, and if something happens, they'll get due process and adjudicated. In our case, that's very unfortunate because they could have been filtered out and Katie could still be alive.
It's so sad and it's so true. Joe, thank you for your courage. Mr. Director, you stay safe out there.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.